friends, this is Elizabeth, the Good Grief Coaching Girl.
Deb said, love the wonderful memories shared earlier. Do you think the sudden and early death of your sister Becky changed how you viewed and lived your life as a young adult?
Absolutely. I remember my children were very young and I wasn't sure how I was going to raise them with such a broken heart. But I knew that I needed to create memories, that memories are where it's at. And so I turned that pain into creating memories. And if you know me, with the kids who were in elementary school, I did festivals and things like that, bringing the community together. And we will always treasure those gifts because they're memories. So yes, Deb, it has changed me, but it's also given me the value of the precious gift of life and how today is a gift because tomorrow is not promised. And so I use that in everything I do to remember that today is a gift because tomorrow is not promised, so make today count.
What is your favorite part about gardening?
My favorite part about gardening, nurturing and having hope. Because when you plant that seed, you have to believe that it's gonna grow. And sometimes it's not easy. You're saying, okay, this seed, you're gonna put it in the dirt, you're gonna water it, give it sun, and it's gonna grow? Yes, because if you give it the right elements, it will thrive. My favorite part of gardening is nurturing and making the plan to execute beauty, because once you have that beauty in your garden and you talk to your plants and nurture them and give them the love, it's definitely a great vibe and it makes me very happy.
What is your least favorite part about gardening?
Funny you should ask that. I think this is an analogy. One of the things that I don't like about gardening are the snails. Those snails, you know what they do? They kind of creep up and they do this in the dark at night. And let's say you planted this magnificent garden and you planted annuals. The next day you look and all the leaves are eaten up. Well, those snails, what they did is they came, creeped up into your garden and ate your beautiful flower. That's kind of like life. You got to protect yourself and make sure that you have good people and you're surrounding yourself with good things, because those snails, they're out there and they want to eat your precious garden that you're nurturing. But the good news is if you tactically and strategically plan your garden, the snails, they won't even be an issue.
What advice do you have for someone who has lost a loved one?
My advice is that our adversities are God's universities. I remember when I first lost my sister, I got that message. And I remember being so devastated thinking, I don't know if I can go on. It's too much. It's so heavy. But there are stages in grief, and you have to understand that. And one of the things that I'll be sharing later in my communication through our website and also some of our videos is that I found out personally that when you are grieving, your brain functions differently. And when I found that out, I was so shocked because, you know, I'm creative, right? And so this is what I learned. I found out when you are being creative, you're able to bypass a part of your brain that is sorrowful and use that part to create and to find joy and have happy neurotransmitters and serotonin, all those different things. And so to keep it simple, if you've just lost someone, my condolences. Go easy on yourself. Know that it's not gonna be a quick thing where you're gonna be out there conquering the world and doing a YouTube or whatever your aspirations are. But if you find the resources, it could be a therapist, it could be a support group, it could be a creative group, it could be a church. And of course, as being the president of Bereavement Resource Network of Sacramento, you can go to Grief Help Sacramento and you can actually find those resources. And then there are national organizations as well. So check out some of my videos on YouTube if you under resources, if you need help in finding resources.
What is your favorite memory of your sister?
Well, I have a lot of memories of my sister. One thing that my sister said, she was always worried about, and when I take pictures of her, how she looked. And so one day we were having a 4th of July party, and I was taking pictures of her, and she's like this on the camera, like, don't take a picture of me. And then we had a video of this, and she says to me, Liz, someday I'm gonna go to your house and I'm gonna take a picture of you and you're not gonna like it. And I said, oh, Becky, come on, I just want a memory of you. And I clipped a picture. Not knowing that I didn't have that much time with her, those memories that I have of her are very, very special to me. So I love just having this time. And another signature about my sister Becky is she was always blowing kisses. So I love having, I have in my garden little angels blowing kisses, and it's a definitely special, special love note is what I call it, of Becky.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is not doing what I was made to do. Sometimes we all have dreams and we all have hopes. And sometimes I look at those dreams and hopes and I think, it's pretty bright. And the cool thing about it is that I have to walk by faith and not by sight. And as I walk by faith, those dreams, they become, I can do it, and not something that is a fear.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I would say my family. My family is my proudest accomplishment, and they are everything to me.
What motivates you to work hard?
We're not promised tomorrow, and I am so inspired right now by such a time as this. Who would ever know that we would be having to be masked, having to be socially distanced, shut in our homes? Who would think? So that motivates me to be able to use what I've been trained in to reach into your home or wherever you are and say, take my hand and let's do this together. Don't be alone. Don't be afraid, and know that you can. We can do this together. We can get through this pandemic. We can get through what we are going through right now and use it for a movement. One time my late neighbor said, you're gonna start a revolution. And I remember thinking, oh, that's a pretty bold thing to say. But I believe that that revolution is happening now and you're a part of it. So can't wait for you to be more involved in our community.
What is your favorite thing about your career?
Being able to be myself. Sometimes people are afraid to show their true side. They're afraid that they might not be good enough, pretty enough, thin enough, articulate enough. But I say to you, use what you have and the rest will come. And sometimes you need to just be your biggest cheerleader, because sometimes you're alone. And in those quiet, still moments, find your faith and know that you were created like me with a purpose.
If you could change one thing that happened, what would it be?
I would say that our adversities are God's university, so I really don't have something that I would change per se. I've learned in my skills that we have to be careful with our words and we have to be careful with our actions because they impact people. So I would encourage all of us to love our neighbor as ourselves and be kind to one another, because we need that right now. And I thank all the people that have been kind to me and that have helped me in my journey, because I wouldn't be where I am without you. And I really appreciate those that have been in my village and continue to be in my village, of course. I'm not going anywhere, we're just getting started.
Besides gardening, what other hobbies do you have?
Well, I love public speaking. I belong to a couple of Toastmasters organization. I also love paddleboarding, and I love cooking and praying and reading inspirational stories and spending time with my family. Those are all wonderful things. And serving my community. That's where my heart is serving my community.
What was the best advice you've ever received?
I think the best advice that I've ever received is that you need to know where you are to know where you are going. And so I say that with love in my heart, because as I'm sharing about grief and life and where we are today, I invite you to take reflection of where you are and then make some goals about where you want to go. And if you do that, you'll be able to navigate and make those goals and meet those goals one step at a time.
If your closest friend was here, how would they describe you?
They would describe me as a party on wheels. I'm pretty spontaneous, and I love making memories and creating memories and having fun. And I also have a serious side to me as well, and that serious side is giving back to my community and putting the time in and putting the energy to make sure that things are done well. I couldn't do that alone. I do that with surrounding myself with good people. And that's why the Good Grief Coaching Girl was actually evolved into this, is because I wanted you to surround yourself with positive things. And so I'm hoping that the stories we share and the guests that we bring on and the expanding that we will be doing after you check out our website with all of the different newsletters and things will give you hope and inspiration.
What was the best compliment you've ever received?
They've just told me that, you know, you're so real. You don't have pretension, and I love that about you. And I take that as a very beautiful compliment. It's taken time to get to this place, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
What was your favorite memory with your father?
Our favorite place to go is, I didn't share this yet, and it's on my website, you could check out some pictures, is that I love the ocean. The ocean is my happy place. It just fills me with fresh air and just hope. And my dad, not so much. And I said, Dad, you gotta come to the beach house, come on. And then he came a few times, but this one time, it was right before he passed, he said, Mia, I want you to get ready because I want my sister to come to the beach. And I didn't realize it, but my aunt had never been to the ocean. And so we made it happen. And I remember that day, my dad was so happy that he got to allow his sister to see the ocean. And that is my favorite memory with my father, because I think I rubbed off on him a little bit and he started liking the ocean. Please follow us on all our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, also on Instagram, YouTube, and most of all, our website. But I want you to know that it means so much, so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Can do, so can you. See you in the community.